Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm JC, and today's video I'm going to be discussing the piece of writing advice I hate the most. There's a lot of writing advice out there. A lot of it is good, some of it is bad, depending on what kind of writer you are. And then there is just some which I just can't understand why anyone would give this advice. And it is notable that there are best-selling authors that do give this advice. And while I still love their books, I do not like the fact that they give this advice. What advice is that, you might ask? Write what you know. I hate this advice. I think it's the worst piece of writing advice ever given to any up-and-coming writer, well-established writer, writer struggling in their journey. What kind of writing advice is that? And if you follow that advice, this is not a judgment on you. This is my opinion. I do not understand why that is valid writing advice. So before I go off on a tangent, because I could on that topic all day, I'm going to tell you the 5 reasons I hate that writing advice. And yes, I am reading because my memory is a little shady these days. I'm getting older, so to write down things that I want to say so that I can remember them and say them correctly. So the first reason that I hate this writing advice is because I, like most everyone else, I'm sure, don't know everything. That would limit my ability to write a lot of things that I want to write because I don't know everything. The limit that you place on yourself when you only stick to what you know, it doesn't make sense to me. Plus, what I do know and what I have experienced in my life, they would be some pretty bleak topics if I only stuck to writing what I know. I don't know everything. Number 2, because the stories I want to tell are things that I've never actually been through and only live in my imagination. I want to write paranormal, about the people that experience the other side or the spirit world. I've never experienced the spirit world. I have talked to people who have experienced the spirit world, thus I can get proper research. I've never been through that. It's not an experience I have been through. I have experienced the feeling of deja vu or the feeling of dreaming things that come true down the road. I don't know what term, there is a term for that. I just don't know what it is at this moment. But I've experienced, I think it's called the sixth sense or something. But I've experienced that. I've not experienced being able to communicate with the other side. And for those who say that that's not possible, I beg to differ. But there are people I know who have communicated with their loved ones from the other side. I do believe that that's possible. So don't judge me. Number 3, because I firmly believe that restricts a writer greatly to only stick to what you know. Because you're making the assumption also that a writer cannot thoroughly do research to find out the things that they don't know. To say that a writer can't write about something in the medical arena just because they've never been a doctor. There's research. You can talk to actual doctors and use them as your point of research. If you're writing a story that involves a detective and you've never been a police officer, obviously there's research for that. Just to assume that a writer can't do their due diligence and research the information that they need for their story because they don't know it, they've never lived it, is very restrictive. And you know what they say about people who assume things. I'm moving on. Number 4, because I secretly am obsessed with research, and I tend to like writing about things that I don't know because then I get to do more research. I like research. I probably should have been a researcher in a different life, but I love research. I also love history, so there is a historical fiction novel on my horizon about something I obviously have never lived through because I wasn't born then. So, um, I'm not. I'm writing a mystery series right now. It involves things that come from medical examiners, toxicologists, doctors, detectives. I don't know about these things, but I can research them. So, you know, I secretly like to write about things that I actually have to expand my knowledge on it because I don't know about them. Number 5. Um, while I don't currently write anything in the fantasy genre, I never say never. Um, I might entertain the thought of writing in a fantasy. There is an idea brewing in my head that involves tarot, psychic, kind of that, and I think that's considered fantasy, not high fantasy, but it's low fantasy, I believe. And clearly, some of these things, like magical kingdoms and things, they don't actually exist. So when you say write what you know, you're just kind of nixing the whole fantasy genre. I'm just saying. So I think that writing what you don't know broadens your horizons. There are places I want to write about that I've never been to. Obviously, to do the kind of research that I would need to do past internet research, I'm going to want to go to these places. So yes, writing what I know kind of gives me a reason to go places I haven't been, to research things would have never even thought to research about, because if I wasn't writing about it, I wouldn't necessarily need to know about it. In terms of historical fiction, because I have a couple of ideas for some historical fiction novels, there are things in history that I want to dive deeper into for the book that I want to write. But if I wasn't writing it, I'm not sure that I would necessarily. Oh no, that's not true, because I'm writing about something that I've always had a fascination with since I was younger. So I probably would still like research it for no reason whatsoever. But having a book to write about it gives me a reason to research. And I just think that you learn so much more when you write about things you don't know. I don't know who came up with this piece of advice. I think it's very limiting and restrictive. I know I've said restrictive like 3 times already, but it's really restrictive. It restricts a writer greatly to stick to what you know. I just think it's horrible advice. Yeah. So that is my piece of bad advice that I hate the most, and the 5 reasons why I hate them. So that's going to be it for this video. If you like what you see and want to see more videos from me, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know in the comments, what piece of writing advice out there do you hate the most, and why do you hate it? Let me know. Till next time, have a blessed day. Bye. Today's video, I'm going to be discussing the writing advice. Nope, that's not right either. Not worlds, I'm sorry. Those are my 5 reasons for that.